Steelers, the Los Angeles Raiders. And the Steelers featuring one of the great defenses in the National Football League, led by outside linebacker Kevin Green. He has 10 sacks.
The attitude of this Pittsburgh defense is embodied by the linebacker Greg Lloyd, number 95. This defense blitzes for the run, they blitz for the pass, and they blitz to disrupt quarterbacks.
And facing this pressure all afternoon will be the Raiders quarterback, Jeff Hostetler. If he lingers in the pocket, he will be lost. And the weather today in Southern California, it is absolutely gorgeous. What a clear day all the way to the Hollywood sign. The temperature is 66 degrees, 47% humidity, just a touch of a breeze, and the forecast more of the same all afternoon. This is the way that it is supposed to be in Southern California.
Well, I grew up in Southern California. Now, this is football weather. I don't care what they say back in the Meadowlands. It's 30 degrees with a 25-mile-an-hour wind. This is football weather. You can play forever.
Pittsburgh has won the toss. They will be receiving. As you can see, when you mention clear skies in Southern California, this is exactly what we're talking about here at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. So Jeff Jager is going to be kicking off for the Raiders.
And both quarterbacks today, Charlie, we talked about the pressure on Jeff Hostetler, but with Mike Tomczak getting the start for Pittsburgh, he and Hostetler both need a good aggressive running game to help them out, because both these defense are going to use the old get the head and the body dies theory and go after these quarterbacks.
And Dwight Stone is the deep back on the return for the Steelers. And we are underway. It is high and short. Stone takes it at the 12. He is to the 20, the 25, around the corner to 30. There's a flag down, and he is also down at the 36-yard line. Pulled down by Andre Bruce. An excellent return, usually nullified by a flag when you see it. And it will be.
You got a little holding there, Charlie. And when this special teams group from Pittsburgh makes mistakes, they make it because they're extremely aggressive.
Holding during the return.
All right, let's start with Pittsburgh's offense.
10 yards, first down and 10.
Their quarterback today is going to once again be Mike Tomczak. That offensive line, there's a change at right guard. Justin Strelzik replacing the injured Todd Kalis. Backs and receivers. Tomczak gets the call. He threw for 343 yards against Miami last week.
And when they go into the nickel, they're going to bring in the rookie, Charles Johnson. They were using rotating receivers. Bill Cowher decided he's going with the two best he thinks to give them a chance to win, bringing Johnson in on third.
And they open with a play-action fake. Tomczak rolls, throws, and the pass is incomplete to the tight end, Eric Green. It'll be second down and 10, 26-yard line. Raiders defense, the front seven led by their two defensive tackles, Jerry Ball and Chester McLaughlin. Their total weight, are you ready for this? Almost 650 pounds. The secondary, cornerback number 36, Terry McDaniel, a total of 7 interceptions on the year.
And today the Raiders have a luxury bringing in a veteran like Albert Lewis as their fifth defensive back. Look him to match up on the rookie Johnson.
Second down and 10. And the pass is incomplete. Going to the sure hands of John L. Williams, and another flag. This one dropped downfield at around the 37-yard line. Rob Fredrickson was there for the Raiders defense. And it will go against Los Angeles.
Illegal contact. Number 54 on the defense. 5 yards. First down.
That is on Greg Biekert, the middle linebacker.
I agree with Bill Cowher's decision. He and his offensive coordinator, Ron Earhart's decision to come out, letting Mike Tomczak get comfortable in throwing the ball. The problem is, first two plays has been a little too much adrenaline for Tomczak. Passes have been very poorly overthrown.
31-yard line, first down. And here is Foster, and he is dropped for a loss. Chester McLaughlin got it.
One thing this Raiders front four has done with this new configuration with McLaughlin and Ball inside is they penetrate. And what Pittsburgh does best when they're blocking well up front, a lot of traps and a lot of combination blocks, and that's exactly what the Raiders need to do against this offense. They need to get their defensive tackles in the backfield. That disrupts completely the running game.
Second down and 13. And here is John L. Williams. Williams on the draw. He's going to pick up about 5 yards on the play.
Watch the blocking combinations, especially this one right here on the right. See the combination? It's a draw designed to go left, but the combination between Strelsick and Searcy opens that right side up for the running back.
Third down and 7.
John L. Williams, when it's third down, you have to look at one of the greatest running back receivers in the history of this league.
From the shotgun, the pass is complete. Pass is complete to Charles Johnson, the rookie from Colorado. Gain of 13 and the first down.
They make a lot of comments about this young wide receiver. Gee, he doesn't run very good patterns, doesn't do a lot of things. I like this guy. You know what he does? He goes and gets the ball. The heck with patterns, the heck with getting off the line. If they tell him be at point A in a zone, he will be there, and no matter where the quarterback puts the ball, this young guy is going to go after it and get it.
Steelers converting on 3rd and 7. Back to the ground game. It's not there. Barry Foster is shut down by Beekert. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
And you saw, again, that penetration not only by Beekert, but also by Nolan Harrison over there on that side of the defense. And as long as this Raiders defense can get this penetration, Barry Foster, and when they bring Bam Morris in, if you give those big backs room to run downhill, they'll kill you. If you get them in the backfield, they're a lot less of a threat.
2nd down and 10. Pittsburgh throwing. Pretty good protection. Deep over the middle. Misses his intended receiver. Yancey Thigpen way off target.
And Yancey Thigpen was wide open, too, right over the middle of the field. But you saw Mike Tomczak back there patting the ball, kind of had the happy feet working, and that's the position the Raiders want him in. If they can surround him in that pocket, if they can pressure him from all sides, that's when they think that he'll put the ball up. Mike Ditka talked about that this morning on NFL Live, about Mike Tomczak's a tough guy, he's a smart guy, but he will put the ball where the defense can get at it.
3rd down and 10. They want to give Tomczak 3.5 seconds to throw. And we've got whistle sounding. That can be dangerous when some of you hear the whistle and others do not.
Especially if one of the somebodies at the quarterback.
Delay by the offense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
So it'll be 3rd down and 15.
And Bill Cowher knows that this is kind of plan D when it comes to what you want your offense to do. That's getting Mike Tomczak and this offensive line in a 3rd and double-digit situation, because he knows the Raiders have got a very aggressive front four. Look for the Raiders in these situations to take a page out of Cowher's book and pressure with the blitz also.
Tomczak from the gun, good protection, dumps it off, and he misses John L. Williams. I mean, it's just a little toss, and he missed it.
Well,
the adrenaline is really pumping.
Well, it's pumping a little too hard, Charlie. Watch it. Wide open John L. Williams. This is a safe pass. It's a dump-off pass. It's an opportunity to let your back get some yards, and just too much. I mean, he's done this now 4 times. He has got to settle down. Remember, Charlie, Neil O'Donnell is healthy and can play if Tomczak keeps this up.
So Mark Royals is going to kick. Tim Brown is the return man. A flag is down. That is not surprising. The ball goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line.
There's a penalty flag.
It's a flag back at the 42-yard line. And it is a motion call against the Steelers. They'll bring it back and kick it again. And now we'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Miami Jets game. Miami coming from behind to win that one in the last minute of play, 28-24. We have no score here in the Coliseum between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Los Angeles Raiders. It is fourth down and 20. So Mark Royals is going to be kicking again to Tim Brown.
A real good directional punter is Mark Royals. Don't look for him to let Tim Brown return this ball.
And he goes for the sideline, and you are right, and he gets it. And they're going to mark it out at about the 32-yard line. 32 yards on the kick, but no return.
That penalty was a 17-yard penalty for the Los Angeles Raiders. They picked up that many yards on that one.
Undancer, unprancer. Ah!
Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. You look at the quarterback of the Raiders, Jeff Hostetler. He has been sacked some 25 times this year. We have no score in the ballgame, and the Raiders' first opportunity on offense.
Wouldn't be surprised at all here just to sort of send a message to Pittsburgh for the Raiders to come out and just bomb one down the field, especially on figures on the near corner.
Play action fake. Deep over the middle. Pass is complete. 46-yard line. Tight end Andrew Glover pulls it in. Darnell Lake dumps him, a gain of 15 and a first down. So we spot the ball at the 47-yard line and a first down. And now we would like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Houston-Cleveland game. No score here. As you know, Cleveland defeated the Oilers 34-10. So the Browns continue on their quest for the playoffs as Harvey Williams starts his quest, his first running play for the Raiders. And he is stopped by Levon Kirkland, the left inside linebacker for the Steelers.
Easily the biggest difference, Charlie, in this Raiders offense the last month has been the performance of Harvey Williams and the addition of that running game. It's made everybody's life a lot easier, especially Jeff Hostetler.
Second down and 4. Rathman in motion. And here is Williams, right side. And there's nothing there. All right, let's set up the Raiders offense. A veteran offensive line. They'll have to give their quarterback some time to throw against this very tough Pittsburgh rush. Backs and receivers. Well, wide receiver Tim Brown. He is the key to the Raiders offense. He's going to have to get open and get open in a hurry.
Speaking of getting open in a hurry, when they go to the nickel, they bring in the Rocket Ishmael. And all these Raider receivers are going to have to be open in the first 5 yards, Charlie. There's no let's get down the field and stretch things out because this pass rush is there in a heartbeat.
And Rocket is in the lineup along with James Judd. Hostetler scrambles out of the pocket, and he throws this one away. As long as he gets out of the pocket, he can do that. He has to get outside of where the tight end would normally be. And it's going to be fourth down, so Jeff Gossett will come in. And Rod Woodson is the return man for the Steelers.
Well, the problem with getting outside that pocket against this defense is you got to get outside Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd. And they are just like a pincer attack. They come from the sides, and they love to just seal a quarterback in and make a little sandwich.
Rod Woodson, the return man, he has a total of 715 yards this year as a return man with his interception. Almost blocked. He barely gets it away. And it will go into the end zone for the touchback. We'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. We'll step aside. We have no score between Pittsburgh and the Raiders. Welcome back to the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. No score. Pittsburgh now their second opportunity on offense, and they start from the 20-yard line. And this is what they have been doing so successfully. A couple of yards this time from Barry Foster. It'll be 2nd and 8.
Both these special teams groups get big plays. Now watch a mental mistake by the Raiders. Darnell Lake right there, number 37. Watch him come completely free. If he accelerates full speed from the get-go, he gets this punt because he's not far off there. That's something you better shore up quick against Pittsburgh because that's one thing they love to do. They will block kicks. They will hit anything that moves on special teams.
Barry Foster and John L. Williams are the setbacks. Tomczak goes deep, has a man open, and it is incomplete. Outstanding defensive coverage by Terry McDaniel. Ernie Mills had to wait just a moment on the ball.
Yeah, there's a combination of good defense by McDaniel and an underthrown ball. Watch Tomczak. Watch the edge, that little edge that Mills has here. And right at the end, watch him slow down for the ball. You see that? That is the difference. He stays in stride. McDaniel's making a tackle to save a touchdown.
It'll be 3rd down and 8. We talk about the time that the quarterbacks like to have, or the coaches like for them to have. From the shotgun, he'll set up the pocket watch. They like him to have 3.5 seconds. And he gets the play off. It'll be close to the first down. 2.74.
Well, actually, that's more to the ideal of Pittsburgh and their offensive coordinator, Ron Earhart. Realistically, Mike Tomczak has got to think 2.5, 2.5 seconds. Try to count that to yourself one time. See how quick that is. But Ron Earhart there, the offensive coordinator, knows in this offense against this defense, with a quarterback that is not a guy that wins games, you've got to take the snap, hit your drop, and get rid of the ball.
Ernie Mills with the reception, 10 yards and the first down. And back to the ground. Here is Foster out in front as the convoy is John L. Williams. And across the 40 to the 41-yard line. So he just cruises for 9. Eddie Anderson with a tackle.
Both these halfbacks for Pittsburgh, Foster and Bam Morris, are downhill runners. Watch their body lean. Right now, body lean's going forward, and when he hits anybody, he hits anything, he's going towards the goal line. If you're going to hit these guys, you're best to hit them down around the knees and trip them up.
7 minutes, 44 seconds. That is the time remaining. A scoreless first quarter. And here is Foster at the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Back, he's going to lose a yard back to the 40, and it was Jerry Ball who wrapped him up.
And that was Jerry Ball getting that penetration back into the backfield, Charlie, and making the play on their side of the line of scrimmage. Now watch Jerry Ball come right through that gap between the center and the guard, fight off the double team. Now that's a difference. Last play, good blocking, good screen blocking by the offensive line, no penetration.
Barry Foster has carried the ball 5 times. 3 of the 5 times he's been dropped for a loss. Tomczak sets very quickly, and he fires pass is complete. It is a big first down for Eric Green down the sideline. And the reason it is so big is he picks up 21 yards. He's a big target, 6'5", 280 pounds.
Now here's a tight end. This is the battle star of the NFL. Look at the size of it. I mean, there are linemen in this game that aren't as big as this guy. What makes him so special is there's linebackers in this game that aren't as fast as this guy.
They're blips that cover the game are not as big as this guy.
He's really special. He's really a security blanket for any quarterback that plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They know they can always get the ball to him. He does his most damage, though, over the middle in the seam. Bam
Morris makes his first appearance as a running back. He slips the tackle, but he cannot get to the corner. He's going to lose a yard and a half.
Nice job by Patrick Bates, and that was exactly what I was talking about earlier. You saw the arm tackle, try to get him up high. He broke through that, and Patrick Bates came down and chopped him down right about the knees.
Now they list Bam Morris as 6 feet even and 215, 220. We were told very close to 260 pounds of running back.
Hey, he's on the north side of close.
Yes.
On 260.
Tomczak to throw. He goes deep over the middle, and it is open again. First down. 15 yards on the play, and that deep middle has been open time and time again for him.
And the reason that ball was able to get there really was that the blitz that was brought inside was picked up perfectly by the Pittsburgh offensive line. I mean, this is an offensive line known for its run blocking. But watch the blitz with Beekert. Everybody's coming. Moss is coming inside. Fredrickson's coming. Good pickup by everybody. Bam Morris, the rookie running back. That's usually the last thing a rookie learns is how to pick up blitzers. But I guess when you're 260, you kind of pick yourself as a guard in there when you're pass protector.
First down, Steelers. And a swing to the right side. Foster. He slips one tackle, and he is going to end up losing a yard. Time and time again, the Raiders have stopped the running attack.
And it's all due to the penetration, Charlie. Watch Anthony Smith, the defensive end, right in front of you there. Just work upfield, That's Eric Green trying to block him, and I don't know if Green can handle that kind of a guy with a defensive end, but as long as the penetration comes, they're going to stop this running game. But did you notice at the end there? I mean, it was a good tackle. They stopped him, but Foster never stopped going forward. He went to the ground, but the Raider was on the bottom.
2nd and 11. Tomczak to throw. Looks over the middle. Goes over the middle. Wide open at the 18-yard line. Now it's Thigpen inside the 5 and into the end zone. 27 yards on the touchdown pass from Mike Tomczak, which, by the way, that's his first touchdown pass of the year, to Yancey Thigpen, who scores his 3rd touchdown of the year.
Any more questions about why Bill Cowher is starting 2 separate wide receivers? When you get a guy like Thigpen, you get Mills in this game, you let them get into the flow, you get them used to the defensive backfield, and you get them used to the quarterback too. There's Tomczak. He threw for 343 yards last week and didn't have a touchdown.
And the extra point is up, and it is good. And the Steelers move on top of the Raiders by a score of 7-0 with 4:30 left first quarter. And Mike Tomczak very shaky. On the second drive for the Steelers, he completed 4 of 5, including the touchdown pass.
Well, he's a different-looking quarterback. You know, Bill Cowher got on the sideline, sort of gave him the basic chill pill. Said, hey, take a deep breath. You're my guy right now. I started you. Go do what you're supposed to do. And the line did a good job picking up blitzes.
All right, and here is the kickoff with Rocket Ismail. Spinning at the 25, and that is it. He is down at that point. And so the Raiders will move on offense for the 2nd time in the ballgame. This time they trail 7-0 with 4:21. And here's Jeff Hostetler, the quarterback. He, by the way, the number 2 rusher, tied for 2nd in rushing on the Raiders with 97 yards.
And really the challenge for he in this offense, much like you saw Tomczak and the Steelers, sort of be patient, take the negative yards and take the big plays. The same's going to happen against this defense. They're going to get a lot of zeros and -5s. They got to look for the +10s and 20s.
And they open with a play-action fake to Harvey Williams going deep downfield. Andrew Glover, the tight end, is open at the 45-yard line. A quick 19 yards. Cornell Lake finally makes a stop for the Steelers.
Well, it looks like a mirror image, but it's basically the same play you saw Eric Green catch from Mike Tomczak. Just sending that tight end right behind the zone. Nice big hole right there for him, and Cornell Lake closes well, but that's the kind of thing that'll start opening up your wide receivers when you get the safeties more conscious of your tight ends.
Andrew Glover now with his 2nd reception of the ballgame, 27 on the year. First down Raiders. On the ground is Harvey Williams, and maybe a yard and a half, and that is going to be it against this very tough Pittsburgh defense. This time it's LaVon Kirkland who stops him. Speaking of the defense, here's that front 7. They put more pressure on the quarterback than any other team in the NFL. They lead the National Football League with 40 quarterback sacks. Secondary, number 26. We mentioned this before, Rod Woodson, a great return man, 715 yards total yardage in return.
Well, the skill of the outside linebackers, they make them defensive ends. They bring in 2 more defensive backs, and they flood all kinds of zones in the nickel.
2nd down, about 8.5. Hostetler throwing this time underneath the coverage, juggled up and down by Alexander Wright. He is going to come up just shy of the first down. Kirkland with the stop.
Well, actually, that's pretty good concentration. These are good catches, both of them. Watch the ball sort of off the hands, off the face, through the head. Looks like one of those commercials, you know, over the Coliseum parapet here, over the scoreboard, over my head, and nothing but net. And good concentration, knowing that he's getting a face full of safety coming up quick.
And for Alexander Wright, that is only his 9th reception of the year. Tim Brown, the leading receiver, is now trying to scoop for the first down is Hostetler. Tim Brown comes in the ballgame with 63 receptions for the Raiders. All other wide receivers now with 46. All other running backs now with 59. And it just means that it's Tim Brown and others in the offense. And Hostetler, by the way, now has reached another plateau, over 10,000 career passing yardage. He did that a moment ago when he went to Andrew Glover.
You know, regardless of a Super Bowl ring in this guy's past, you forget last year and this year are really his first 2 years of getting a full-time shot in the NFL as being a starter. When you look at his career stats, you expect to see bigger numbers, but the big numbers are all here with the Raiders.
First down, 45-yard line of the Steelers. Pittsburgh up 7-0. Here's Tim Brown across in motion. Play action fake. Has pressure, throws back underneath the coverage. He was running out of time, and we mentioned this because one of the main factors is this ballgame, the time that Hostetler is going to have to throw against this very tough rush. We asked him about it, and we'll take a look at some of that pressure. And he says, how much time would you like to have?
Well, the pressure on that play came from Kevin Green. He had all the time he needed, and then he had all the Kevin Green he needed right here as Green gets around Glover, who's trying to block him as a pass rusher. You cannot block these outside linebackers with anybody but a big body.
Yeah, but Hostetler's only going to have about, 1.5 seconds to get it out. Here's the pitch to Harvey Williams. And he is attacked by the defense and is going to end up losing 3 as Darren Perry, the second Steeler to get to him, brings him down.
Well, you bring up the subject of, time in the pocket and how long does he have. Normally in this Raiders offense, they hold the ball longer at the quarterback position than anybody else because they try to get down the field so much more. Jeff Hostetler today against this defense has to shorten up his drops and shorten up his receivers' patterns because he won't get the time when they start blitzing.
And we'll set up the pocket watch. 3rd down and 13. You look for him to throw here. Ishmael is in, along with James Jeff. There's the pressure. Pretty good protection. He goes deep, has the man, overthrows it. 2.57, and he overthrows James Jeff. And that's about the maximum amount of time that he's going to get.
It really is. You see, Jeff's not really happy, and the one guy he's not happiest with right now, I think, is probably himself, because that ball was just a little bit overthrown.
So it will be 4th down and 13, and Jeff Gossett will be kicking to Rod Woodson. 1 minute, 13 seconds, time remaining first quarter. Steelers are up 7-0.
One thing about Jeff Hostetler, though, Charlie, he's a quarterback that offensive linemen love because he's a guy that would like to get into a fight. He's a quarterback you don't want to pick up.
He had pressure the last time he kicked. This time he gets it away without any pressure. Woodson goes back, takes it at the 5. He is up to the 10. And is going to be down around the 20-yard line. 43 yards on the kick, 12 yards on the return. Aaron Wallace with the tackle. Steelers lead it 7-0. See him in Los Angeles, and these aerial pictures are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Eagle, based in Carson, California. Steelers lead in the ballgame 7-0. They start from their own 20-yard line, first down. Last time they started from the 20, they went 80 yards for the score. And they open now with Barry Foster for 3 yards as we go to New York City. And an update. Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Charlie, it's Seattle. With this completion to Lake Dawson, Kansas City quarterback Joe Montana has gone over 40,000 career passing yards. Just the 5th quarterback in NFL history to do that. Kansas City leads 3-0. Next week on NFL Live, we will revisit what might have been the game of the year. Elway and Montana go at it again. We'll hear from both of them next Sunday at 12:30 Eastern. Right now, let's go back to Charlie and Randy.
All right, it's 2nd down and 7, Greg, as we come back. There's pressure for Tomczak, and he sidearm. He gets away with it. He was dumping the ball up, trying to avoid the sack, and he managed to do it. Jerry Ball almost had him wrapped up, and John L. Williams was in the neighborhood.
Now watch the pressure now coming from the Raiders defense on Tomczak. Certain times you want to try to force it. This is the time to get out the old mustard needed. Didn't need to do this. He got away with that one.
And it will be 3rd down and 7. Tomczak from the gun. And he goes deep over the middle again, and this time the pass is incomplete to Charles Johnson. Terry McDaniel was dropping back and also picking up some coverage from Eddie Anderson. And so it simply wasn't there, but that deep middle has been open.
It has, Charlie, but that overthrow was caused by Anthony Smith. He got that big body and those big arms up in Tomczak's face, and Tomczak had to sort of guesstimate where he had to throw it.
All right, so Mark Royals will be punting. Tim Brown is the return man. The Raiders trail 7-0, but Tim Brown could give them excellent field position. pretty good kick. He goes for the sideline as always. Brown fields it inbounds up the sideline. A pretty good move. And he is going to be out at the 46-yard line. 49 yards on the kick, 16 yards on the return, with 4 seconds left in the first quarter.
That was a pretty move Tim Brown put on Myron Bell, number 40 on the punt coverage team. He just absolutely quivers and freezes him. Watch Bell come down, 40. He says, oh, he's not going out of bounds. I mean, that's one of the reasons this guy is such a threat. He would do more things if Art Shell would let him. He'd like to return kickoff. He'd do it all. But they figure they've got to start economizing. He told Ahmad Rashad, I know it was Jim Gray today on NFL Live about, hey, I'm getting a little older. Maybe they got to start cutting me back. I'm on the downhill side.
It's a big hill, though.
As in his case.
First down. Play action fake. Hostetler wants to go deep. Off to Rathbun as he dumps it, and it's incomplete. As Tom went up with one hand, couldn't pull it down. And with that play, we come to the end of the first quarter. The Steelers out in front of the Raiders, 7-0. We'll be back in a moment. Here in Los Angeles, the Steelers out in front of the Raiders by a score of 7-0. We mentioned the fact that one of the key men for the Raiders, number 81, Tim Brown. One of the things you'll notice about Tim Brown, and you may have picked it up already, one of the few of the top receivers that does not wear gloves. And there's a reason. Second down and 10 as Brown comes across in motion. Play action fake. Hostetler looking left all the way. And going to Harvey Williams, underthrows him. And he comes down as he stops, comes back for the ball at the 29-yard line. And he beats Chad Brown on the play, 25 yards, first down.
And the main reason he beats Chad Brown is Chad Brown gets beat a little bit initially and then can't turn back and find out where this ball is thrown because it's not thrown that well. May take a look here as you see Williams go down the field. You're going to see Chad Brown chasing him right at the very end. He's got to settle for the ball, but Chad Brown can't adjust. He's just sort of wishing and hoping he can catch him.
And it's a first down. Harvey Williams, and he's got a couple of yards. They'll mark it at the 26-yard line. And it'll be second down and about 7. Greg Lloyd with the tackle. And then back to Tim Brown. He wears some tape on the fingers, and that's because his fingers have all been hyperextended. So that's kind of bring them back. But in reality, he said, I like the feel of the ball. I tried to wear the old scuba gloves in Cincinnati when it was cold last year, and he said, I had no feel. I couldn't hold on to anything. He said, I don't care how cold it is, how warm it is. I'm going with a hand.
It doesn't hurt to play in L.A. to have that philosophy. I think it'd be a little different in Buffalo.
Here's Harvey Williams. He wanted to go inside. That was shut down. He took a look outside, and that was shut down. And then he was shut down at the 25.
We've talked about the penetration by the Raiders defense stuffing down the Pittsburgh running game. Watch the penetration by this entire near side of the Pittsburgh defense. I mean, just an excellent job by Brinson Buckner, 96, the rookie there, of just stuffing up the tackle, Skrepanak, and then just putting it back in the backfield and making the tackle.
And Carnell Lake is the injured Steeler. He is down, so we have an injury timeout. 13:26, that is the time remaining in the first half. On an absolutely gorgeous afternoon, the temperature at kickoff in the mid to upper 60s. Very warm, not that much of a breeze, and clear skies. You can see all the way across the valley. You can see to the Hollywood sign. That's kind of the giveaway on a gorgeous day from the Coliseum, if you can see the Hollywood sign. And there's a look.
Yeah, I mean, I was
a Goodyear blimp.
Charlie, I was about 10 years old, so I knew there were mountains and hills around here. I thought there was a kind of brown air as far as you could see when I was a kid out in the valley here.
A lot of times there is. As we come down back inside the Coliseum. And a program night tonight on Earth 2. The humans make their first contact with the aliens, and it could be deadly. An all-exciting all-new Earth 2. And science awakens the dead and faces the consequences on the all-new Sequest. Then one woman married to 2 men at the same time. And how did she get away with it? Well, Connie Selica stars in the world premiere movie.
Like the most women that married professional football players, they married 2 guys, too. One during the season and one during the off season.
Very good point. When play resumes, it'll be 3rd down and 7. Tim Brown said this is the crucial distance for us. On 3rd down, when they know we're going to throw, because they get such a strong rush from the Steelers. that they're going to cut off their routes. If we can cut them off at about 7, and that's about it. 3rd and 10, we're in trouble.
You're right, Charlie. It's a comfort zone for Archell's offense because they know if they have to throw it short, they can still have a chance of running for the first down. If it's 3rd and 12, no way.
And the pocket watch will show us just how much time Hostetler will have to throw. He brings his backs in, changes the play again.
Utilizing for the protection.
And here comes the blitz. It's picked up. There's the pressure. Steps away. Has to throw. Pass is complete. 2.32 seconds. But he was in jeopardy. And guess what? He goes to Tim Brown. And Tim McKyer gets it.
Yeah, now, the good job was done by the entire Raider protection, giving him the time. Watch how much time. Tim Brown has to get to a spot. 2.78, 2.8 seconds. There comes Willie Williams on the blitz. Cut off that route and get where your quarterback can find you, because he's not going to have a long look. Perfect. 2.3 seconds. Whew. That's getting that thing off in a hum, especially off an audible.
And a first down, 15-yard line of the Steelers. Raiders trail 7-0. Hostetler turns. He wants a timeout. He's completed, as you see, 5 of 9. Clock is stopped with 12:18 left to go. We're in the first half. We'll step aside. We'll be back in a moment.
NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now and ask for our football special. When it's got to be good, and it's got to be now, it's got to be Domino's.
As we come back to the Coliseum on this absolutely gorgeous afternoon, Cornell Lake, who was shaken up a moment ago, has returned to action for the Steelers, and it's a first down for the Raiders at the 15-yard line. Here's the pitch perhaps from the fullback, and he's going to have a yard, maybe a yard and a half, and that is going to be all. Greg Lloyd is there to meet him, and the Steelers have completely taken away any kind of rushing attack that the Raiders might want to mount here in the first half.
Well, really, on that play, they're doing it with different people, different styles, and different ways of doing it. But Deion Figures, watch him coming up against Gerald Perry, the big tackles pulling out. Watch Deion Figures fight through the block, in fact, all the way through the block and make the tackle. And that's for a cornerback who's known a lot more for his pass covering ability than his run stop.
3 wide receivers. Rathman is the remaining back. And Hostetler to throw has lots of time deep over the middle. Broken up in the end zone. Rocket Ishmael, the intended receiver, and Darren Perry breaks it up.
Did you see all the time right there that they had, though? They had forever back there. Hostetler sat back there. You had a blitz coming from 3 linebackers. Watch the blitz right here. Chad Brown's coming down the inside. You got both guys coming from the outside. He steps up into the pocket. I mean, that was just a case of good timing, good defense in the defensive backfield, and excellent protection. That was 3 seconds plus for Hostetler.
And now it is 3rd down and 9. And you expect Hostetler to throw again here, and he does. And he goes deep over the middle, and this one is incomplete in the end zone. Ishmael again gets a call. Tim McKyer breaks it up, and it's going to be 4th down, and the kicking team will come in.
Tim McKyer does a nice job here. Here's a guy that's had problems in his stops in places like Miami and San Francisco and Atlanta, but he's been a great influence on the team here in Pittsburgh. And he's a really, really strong influence as far as the nickel backs goes. He's got a lot of experience, and he's a guy that knows all the tricks. If there's a way of tugging a sweat towel on somebody's waist or just holding a guy a little bit where it can't be seen, Tim McKyer knows it.
32-yard field goal attempt by Jeff Jager. It is good, and the Raiders are on the board for the first time this afternoon. 11:23 left, second quarter, 7-3 Steelers. Jeff Jager with that 32-yard field goal will now kick off. It's the Steelers 7 and the Raiders 3. Dwight Stone is the deep back on the return team for Pittsburgh. And this one goes off to the side. It will go out of bounds. And that means that the Steelers will start with excellent field position. And before we start here, let's go to New York for an update. Greg?
All right, Charlie, it's all over at the Metrodome. After a Minnesota turnover, Michael Husted of Tampa Bay kicks a 22-yard field goal with 12:52 to play in overtime to win it. The Vikings, their first 3-game losing streak since 1991. They lose 20-17, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Greg. What in the world has happened to the Vikings? We saw them earlier in the season, and they look like almost automatic for the playoffs.
I think that offense got too enamored with Warren Moon, figuring he could do it all. He needs a lot of help, and right now he's not getting it.
Steelers lead in this ballgame 7-3, and they throw on first down, and it is incomplete. Tomczak had some quick pressure up the middle, and that was put on by Anthony Smith. We talked about the lack of rushing. Well, Pittsburgh, 9 carries, 14 yards rushing, and the Raiders, 8 carries and 10 yards rushing.
Well, in a game like this, Charlie, you're talking field position is where your punter puts you, how things work, and that was really a bad mistake that Jeff Jaeger made, putting the ball out of bounds there and giving Pittsburgh this kind of a field position. Even if they don't do anything with it, it guarantees your offense being pinned inside the 20.
They start from the 40-yard line, so it's now second down and 10. And here is Foster. Kind of a search and destroy. He's searching for yardage. He's destroyed after a couple. And that will be it for Foster.
Well, this is an example of a running back staying with his blocker as Jason Strelzik, the guard, comes around. John L. Williams comes around. And he's got very little help, but he's trying to run back to whatever help he's got. But you got to give most of the credit there to guys like Beekert and Anthony Smith that shoved that thing right down his throat.
Tomczak has completed 5 of 12, and he will set up here from the shotgun. And here comes the blitz, and he is out of time. And the ball comes down and is picked up. And they're going to rule, I believe, an incomplete forward pass. The wrist is moving forward, and that's going to be the call. And we talked about the time that Hostetler was having. Well, you could see there Tomczak had no time at all.
That was an incomplete brain thought. Watch him just start thinking about throwing the pass and suddenly get a face full of Fredrickson right there. Fredrickson hits him in the face and the arm, and that's another one, Tomczak got lucky that didn't go right into a defensive lineman's hand.
Fourth down, Mark Royals to kick. High snap, but he gets it off. Pretty good kick. And here is Tim Brown. He's going to watch it bounce at the 5 and then be down at around the 3-yard line. We've got a flag.
And that flag's right there at the line of scrimmage. That's right where the flag usually comes from. Downfield too early on the offense, on the kicking team.
Ineligible man downfield, a costly penalty against the Steelers. That was a 56-yard kick.
Well, you know they build Cowher, and that's his special teams coach, Bobby April, right there in front of him. And, you know, these guys are like mirror images of each other. Very aggressive, yellers, screamers.
Down the field, number 51 of the offense. 5 yards, still fourth down.
And not a part of the offense, or part of the team you expect to see making a mistake. Royals is a great kicker getting the ball inside the 20 and pinning teams back. And, you know, there's another one. That's a mistake that's as bad as the one where Jaeger made, given the field position on the 40.
Rookie mistake. Well, Ed Robinson, who was called on, is a rookie free agent from Florida. So we'll do it again. Mark Royals to kick. Tim Brown this time moves up to the 24-yard line.
Now instead of dropping it in, Charlie, it's more of a directional kick away from Brown.
He goes for the sideline, does not get it. Jim has it at the 18. He's to the 25, and that's going to be off. He'll return to about the 27-yard line. 10 yards on the return. And Myron Bell makes the tackle for the Steelers. We'll be back in a moment.
Having a few words with his rookie linebacker out of Florida, Ed Robinson. You know, Cowher's a lot like the man that gave him his first break in the NFL, Marty Schottenheimer. You used to seeing Marty always coaching. Bill Cowher never stops coaching on the football field.
That was the fourth penalty against the Steelers, a total of 25 yards, but a very costly one. Almost 25 yards on this penalty alone when you figure out the yardage. And Harvey Williams is going to lose a yard. Kirkland is there to wrap him up at the 26.
Or Kevin Green got great penetration and broke that play up and enabled Kirkland to do it. And so far, you're seeing both defenses start out very vanilla. And so far, the last two possessions, both Green and Lloyd, and you've seen the blitzes coming from the defensive backfield. You've seen them coming from the linebackers. I look for both these defenses to keep attacking, and especially this defense with these two great outside linebackers.
Harvey Williams is averaging 1 yard a carry. 7 carries, 7 yards. Hostetler to the air. Has pressure right up the middle. He's sacked. First sack of the ballgame. That's number 41. on the year for the Steelers. They lead the NFL in that category.
And Chad Brown, that was a patience sack. I mean, that's just a matter of coming from your linebacker position. Watch him come from the left. There's Greg Lloyd, but what they really get is they get Chad Brown, and he works, and when he comes open, you see that acceleration? Watch the acceleration after he comes open. Rathman whiffs him, then he accelerates right through the quarterback.
And the ball at the 19-yard line, so it's 3rd down and 18. Only a 3-man rush. And the pass far side is incomplete, as Deion Figures was there to break it up. So it'll be 4th down. James Jett, the intended receiver. And that means that Jeff Gossett will come in to kick it away.
You know, Charlie, a lot of times you hear fans say, well, you know, why didn't he throw the ball past the 1st down markers? You know, folks, you don't have 3rd and 18 plays on those charts that the offensive coordinators have on the sideline. There's no such thing. What Jeff Hostetler and the offense has to do, they have to throw the ball short of the sticks, and then it's the receiver's job to get the 1st down.
And now Ron Woodson with an opportunity to give the Steelers good field position. Fields it at the 45. Right return on. If he can get around the corner, he's got 3 blockers in front. There's the key, and he is down the sideline. I thought he would get more yardage than that from that return. Was he bobbling the ball as he went around the corner, or was he just pausing over there to reflect? We'll step aside. Back in a moment.
37 yards on the front.
The keys to the Bears. Well, the reason for the hesitation on that return, Woodson thinks he has a wall. But watch the job that Hoskins does, number 20, coming through the blockers, through the wall, and disrupting that return. Otherwise, it's for a lot more yards.
So they start at the 40-yard line. He was almost stripped of the ball. Play action fake to Morris, steps away, wants to go to the end zone, goes back underneath the coverage. Deep coverage. He had 2 receivers deep, and both were well covered inside the 5-yard line. He was just trying to drop it off to Eric Green, and he made that last-minute decision, and he didn't execute it very well.
Well, you know, some of the times your better throws are the ones you don't really try to make, and that's a good example. He didn't have anything deep, and he didn't try to be any kind of a hero and cram that one in there.
Tomczak only 5 of 13.
And a win and ugly numbers.
And here is Van Morris, and he pops through and is down around the 31-yard line. So he's going to pick up 9 on the play. Eddie Anderson and Eric Hoskins with the tackle.
I talked about, you know, winning ugly, passing ugly. Here's a little running ugly with a running back that can come right at you and get in your face fast with 260 pounds. You know, look at the sort of quivers and the shakes and the back and forth you're getting out of that guy. He's 6 foot. They say 235. I'm sorry, Bam. 255, 260 is closer at it.
And who was it told us the name Bam is perfect? That's just the way you run. Tomczak will miscue on the exchange from center. Fumble, and I believe the Raiders have it, and it would be Chester McLaughlin who was first on top of it, and then the ball scoots out underneath, and then the pushing and shoving contest begins.
Well, somebody made a heck of a play because Tomczak almost compounded a bad mistake. It was John Jackson, the left tackle, 65, got that. Tomczak bobbled the snap, and almost at that point, you're better off just falling on the ground instead of trying to stuff it in and fumbling it again.
It looked like McLaughlin was going to fall right on it. It's 4th down and short. A 50-yard field goal attempt by Gary Anderson. He is hit from 46, he is hit from 48, and he is hit from 50 all this year.
Whatever wind is right into it.
And it hits the crossbar.
And the wind here last night was a lot more of a factor for the college game with SC and Notre Dame, but it's also a factor here because watch at the very end of the ball's flight, the way it kind of starts coming down and coming backwards because of the wind.
It was the upright in the corner. He had just enough height. It was just off to the left, and that breaks a string of 19 in a row. And the Raiders, of course, take over at the spot, which is the 40-yard line. Steelers still lead it by a score of 7-3, and here is Harvey Williams, and there's nothing there on the ground. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Raiders at their own 40-yard line. And so the Steelers started with very good field position, and they didn't go anywhere.
You've seen both offenses sort of misfiring. Art Shell's offense and Jeff Hostetler have just sort of had some good plays, but a lot more ugly and minus plays than good so far. They've got to find a way, though, to get the ball into the wide receiver's hands more often.
2nd and 10. Cornell Lake shows blitz, and he is coming. He's picked up. Williams has it underneath the coverage, and he's cut down to the 45-yard line. So a gain of 5. It'll be 3rd down and 5. Woodson brings him down.
Something I want to show you that Pittsburgh does, it's sort of unusual. They bring the blitzes a lot. When you bring a blitz with Cornell Lake like this, you expect to see a situation where it's man, but watch the zones develop in the defense. This is called a blitz zone, and it's sort of the new fast thing. You watch the defensive backs go into a zone, the linebackers go into the zone, and it's done to confuse quarterbacks.
3rd down and 5. Hostetler steps away, buys some time, and he is going to be close to the 1st down. He needs to get to the 50-yard line, or the ball needs to get there. Chad Brown is the man who really nailed him at that point.
Well, Chad Brown made a 1-point landing right in between the 1 and the 5 in the middle of his back on that tackle.
And Chad Brown holding his back.
Well, you know, watch the chiropractic adjustment coming up here right now. Whack! That hurts both ways. You just sort of hope it hurts the hittee more than the hitter when you're on defense. Oof. And that's coming right into that right shoulder, sort of shaking things up on that right-handed quarterback, Hostetler.
And we'll have the change for the measurement.
You know, Chad Brown right now is saying, "Nah, it didn't hurt me. Oh, my chin strap was bothering me. That's why I got up a little slow."
And it's a 1st down. And Hostetler saying, "Well, it hurt me."
Well, you know, it's a good example, too, of Hostetler giving it up for his guys. I mean, here's a quarterback that didn't have any slide in him. There's a lot of quarterbacks that feel hits and see hits coming and try to sort of slide and make do. And there's nothing in Jeff Hostetler's makeup and really approach to playing football that make do does.
Steelers lead in the ballgame by a score of 7-3. And we have 5.5 minutes left to go in the 1st half. Cleveland defeated Houston earlier today, 34-10. And so the Steelers need the victory to stay even in the Central Division with Cleveland. And here's Harvey Williams. He's stumbling a bit as he moves to the left. Now, of course, most everybody knows the game played here last night. It was very cold, and they redid the field, and they painted the end zones. They started to work like 9:30 last night, but it's been chopped up here a bit.
Now, they do not replace divots in this sport, so once they're there, they are there for wow, long time. The heck with that. Whatever word that was I was trying to find. You know, with this defense, though, you cannot hesitate. They're so good at stuffing, reacting, and penetrating. If you see something, you best take it if you're a running back for the Raiders.
2nd down and 8. Hostetler to throw. Looks over the middle. Has good protection. Comes back over the middle underneath the coverage. And James Jett is rolled up by Cornell Lake.
That's one of those hits, though, Charlie. That looked a lot better than it was. That's the kind that the receiver catches the ball. He's kind of falling back to start with, and you'll get a look at this thing come in. Watch the contact. The receiver will be going backwards when the hit comes. That's one of those merely a flesh wound, head worse.
3rd down and 4 in this situation. Will the Steelers go with the blitz zone?
I think you've got to put pressure right now. You've got to bring at least 5 on this quarterback.
Well, they bring only 4. Hostetler scrambles out of the pocket. He's got the 1st down. Greg Lloyd brings him down, but twice in this drive, Hostetler has scrambled for the 1st down.
And the reason I say you got to bring at least 5 is you don't have this when you bring a big blitz. There's nowhere to go. Hostetler, when he does step up, is stepping up right in that area you'd expect to see a blitzing linebacker or defensive back. And another example of him just sort of giving it up to get that 1st down.
Hostetler is the leading rusher. He has 12 yards. He's the leading rusher of the ballgame.
Not a good health sign for the Raider quarterback if he's leading them in rushing.
And we've got a timeout. So the clock is stopped with 3:16. That is the time remaining in the first half. And the Steelers are up 7-3 with this program reminder that next Sunday, NBC Sports presents more exciting NFL action beginning at 12:30 Eastern Time with NFL Live. And most of you to see two future Hall of Fame quarterbacks. They'll square off in a rematch of that Monday night thriller. Joe Montana and the Chiefs host John Elway and the Denver Broncos. And some of you to see an important game in the East. Boomer Esiason and the Jets. They lost a tough one today to Miami. They'll battle Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots. Others to see Ron Woodson and these same hard-hitting Steelers take on Jeff Blake and the Bengals. Oh, what a ball game. I'm anxious to see Jeff Blake. He has really come on this year. What a story he is. And some of you to see Indianapolis and Seattle. So check your local listings for the NFL game in your area. And be sure to join us next Sunday here on NBC. So we're set to go with a first down at the Steeler 38-yard line.
Hostetler's the leading rusher, like you just mentioned, Charlie, but he's got to get the help from his guys outside. The wide receivers have to come to the game.
They changed the strength with Rathman moving to the left side. Hostetler comes and calls a timeout.
And that was all because of the defense they were presented with by Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh had basically a five-man defensive line look with two blitzes threatening from the backfield. So Hostetler in this situation, down this deep on a first down, didn't want to make any mistakes.
Right now in the AFC, the Pittsburgh Steelers with a record of 8-3, and they have won 6 of their last 7. And if you figure in all of the playoff potential, they have home field advantage from this point on. There's a lot of games still to be played. And Cleveland winning earlier today, now just to stay even with Cleveland, they have to win today. So everybody has their work cut out, including the Raiders, who are chasing almost everybody in the West.
And Bill Cowher's like everybody about this time of the season in 1994 that's doing well. They remind you that Miami last year was 9-2 at this exact same point of the season and sort of laid an egg for the next 5 games and didn't make the playoffs. So this is the time of the year for the offenses and defenses to start to go upward, not to start doing the old El Boldo like Miami did last year.
And Hostetler hands off to Harvey Williams, and he's caught by an ankle and just tries to drag a Steeler forward. He will get to the 34-yard line. That is 4, so it is second down and 6.
4 yards is a good plus play for this running game against this defense because you got to get positive yards to protect your quarterback and to keep him out of those easy blitz type situations.
Hostetler has completed 7 of 14. Tomczak has completed 5 of 13. So not only has the running attack been shut down, the passing attacks are not that effective thus far. It's been a game of outstanding defenses, and here is Kevin Green as he decks Harvey Williams.
Talk about a guy that's gone into a new city and a new team and made a gigantic difference. Kevin Green, I played against for a few years when he was with the Raiders, was just a load and really a force. But now that he's on a top-rated defense, you get a guy with this kind of influence and this kind of ability. And the other guy on that pile was Greg Lloyd, who makes Kevin Green even better, having him on the other side, because so many people are worried about Lloyd. They ignore an all-pro in Kevin Green.
And the Raiders are going to take the countdown to the 2-minute warning as Run Jones, the oldest water boy in the NFL, is already out to the huddle. We'll step aside. We'll be back in a moment. Sidebar, 2 minutes to go in the first half. The Raiders only 1 penalty thus far. We'll set up the pocket watch. It is 3rd down and 7 to see what kind of time the Hostetler will have to throw.
Steelers showing blitz.
And they have 2 men coming on the blitz, and Hostetler is nailed. 2.42 seconds. I don't think he had that much time.
Well, he had 2.41.
That's right.
Because they're showing blitz, they're showing Lake, they're showing Green, they're showing everybody, but the pressure is going to come right straight up the gut.
Gary Jones.
There, Gary Jones was a starter before at weak safety for this team. Before Darren Perry did a great job this year. Big, physical, hard-hitting guy, and he's willing to give it up, kind of like the Raider quarterback went over the top for that one.
And that is his first sack of the year. 4th and 7. They're going for it. It would have been a 52-yard field goal attempt. Drops this one off to Harvey Williams. Harvey a little move to the outside, back to the inside. The Steelers hold. They'll take over and downs And Hostetler very slow getting up, being helped by a Steeler. It was Kevin Green who nailed him and then helped him to his feet.
Yeah, it's not a bad decision going for it on fourth down the way these defenses are playing, because your defense is playing good. Maybe you'll get a shot. Maybe you can take advantage of a blitz because you're getting one. Kevin Green's got it coming, and it's working. Watch team tackling. That is how you team tackle.
But the question, Jeff Jager is hit from 51. That would have been a 52-yard attempt. Why not go with a field goal attempt?
I think they're better off not doing that. I think you got to go for it and set it up either easier for a field goal or try to set your offense and get a little confidence, maybe a touchdown.
So the Steelers are just outside their own 35. This is a screen. Tomczak is running out of time on the screen, and the screen was saturated by the Raiders, and he just dumps it off.
I don't know if it was a screen, Charlie, but it is now.
Yes.
The offensive line blocked that one like a screen because they let a lot of people go. That's the wrong kind of guy to come to the sideline with Bill Cowher if you're not doing a good job blocking, catching, throwing, or tackling, because he will get directly into your face. Kevin Green made a great quote where he said, you know, most coaches get in your face and they want to look you dead in the eye. Bill Cowher gets in your face and he wants to look into your soul.
Tomczak from the shotgun. And he goes deep down the sideline. Tight coverage, incomplete. Thickman, the intended receiver, and Donald Frank used the sideline and had great coverage. They're coming right at you as we take another look.
Well, last week against Miami, these were the passes and these were the catches that the Pittsburgh Steelers were getting on offense. Right now, it's a good job by Frank. And see him using the sideline as his friend, just as the extra boundary, that sort of 12th defender. Good defense.
And it's third down and 10. Minute 33 left to go first half. Steelers are up 7-3. Tomczak rolling, buying some time, lots of time, throws back this side, and it is incomplete. John L. Williams with the sure hand had to turn back for it, and as he made his turn, Albert Lewis was there. It'll be fourth down, and the Steelers will be kicking.
You talk about that sixth sense quarterbacks have. You got to think receivers and running backs. They know that kind of a hit's coming from the back. It'll take your concentration just away for that split second.
And here is Tim Brown. He's at the 25-yard line. He is counting to make sure that the Raiders have 11 on the return.
With a minute and 26 left, you don't kick it to him.
Mark Royals, here's the beauty. And it is nailed at the 5 and will be down at about the 1-yard line. 64 yards on the kick by Mark Royals. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how many dimples on that ball, the way that thing sat down?
Woo. And so now, a minute 13, the Raiders will take over at their 1. And be sure to be with us at halftime. It's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report headed up by Greg Gumbel and his panel of coaches. And they'll be looking at all of the scores in action across the National Football League here today. Vince Evans is now the quarterback. Remember, Hostetler was hit by Kevin Green and then helped up at the end of that last series.
He has taken quite a few shots. He's taken them running, and he's taken them standing back there at his quarterback position in the pocket. And you had to know that was coming with this kind of pressure.
And here is Rampton, and he's going to lean out close to the 3-yard line. And it will be second down and 8. Blurred vision is the report that we have on Jeff Hostetler, and he is headed in now to the locker room, getting a jump on everybody at halftime. Clock is stopped with a timeout with 1:06 left to go here in the second quarter. And the Steelers are up 7-3. The Raiders, of course, very obviously in a situation where you cannot make a mistake. It'll cost you a quick 2 points on a safety.
Well, also, too, you got to consider that the Pittsburgh defense has spent all week long preparing for Jeff Hostetler. Now, suddenly, they've got Vince Evans, who's a guy that tries to make things happen. It's tougher for the defense because they have to adjust. But like the point you just made, Charlie, it's a lot more dangerous trying to make something happen backed up like this.
And so the ball spotted between the 2 and 3 yard line. The Steelers with 1 timeout remaining, and the Raiders have 1 timeout remaining. And here is Rathman again. Maybe a half a yard, and that's going to be about all that he is going to get. And the Steelers will take their last timeout. And let's step up now with Jim Gray. He has an audio report for us on Jeff Hostetler. Jim?
Well, Jeff Hostetler just went into the Raider locker room a little bit early with trainer George Anderson. Anderson says he has a migraine headache. He's just not feeling too well right now. He gets these migraines from time to time. Thinks that he should be able to return. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Jim. And there's a reason that he has migraines. When you get hit the way he does. And you remember in the ball game, a couple of third down scramble. He wasn't sliding. As you said, he doesn't have the slide in him. He's trying to always get that extra yard.
Well, migraine headaches, Charlie, are caused by a lot of things. But today they're caused by gold and black helmets on that Pittsburgh defense. And a lot of the hits have come from that helmet right there, Kevin Green.
Steelers have used their last timeout. And the ball is at the 3 yard line. And it's 3rd down and 8. With exactly 1 minute left to go in the first half. Evans to Rathman again, and there's nothing there.
What a nice job by Joel Steed off the nose working against Don Mosbar. Got 2 yards penetration into the backfield. I mean, this is what you want to do when you're backed up, is now threaten the punter with less room to kick. Look at Steed in the middle, 93, moves the entire pile, including the center, right back into the running back's lap. And now if you're Gossett, I don't know if I'd count bodies as much as I'd count yards. Where can I stand? And can I afford to take any kind of a misstep? Because if I misstep at all, I'm out of bounds.
And, of course, if he steps out of the back edge of the end zone, that's a safety and 2 points. And we set now for the kick. They'll take their last timeout. They take the clock down to 16 seconds. That is the time remaining. And a chance to look down here at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum with a sports arena at the top of your screen on this absolutely gorgeous Sunday afternoon. And there's the Goodyear blimp, one of the world's most enduring symbols. And the Goodyear blimp Eagle providing us with these beautiful aerial pictures that we have here this afternoon. The score, Pittsburgh 7 and the Raiders 3. Both ball clubs are out of timeouts, and we have 16 seconds left in the second quarter.
Remember who's back fielding this punt. This is Rod Woodson standing on about his own 42-yard line. This is a very dangerous punt returner. And remember, the special teams of the Pittsburgh Steelers are not afraid to make something happen. So you've seen that decision chart for the 2-point conversion on numerous occasions. Here's a decision chart for a special teams coach and a head coach. Do I let a good returner catch the ball and give my offense a chance to set up some kind of field position with this punt? Or does Bobby April, the special teams coach, say, boys up front, I got Tenney up there, turn it loose, get me a block.
And here is the snap, and he gets it away. And Woodson has it at the 50. Down the sideline, steps out of bounds, stops the clock. And he does that with 7 seconds left in the first half. A 47-yard kick, 10 yards on the return, and 7 seconds remaining.
There's not much you can do with 7 seconds here except try to flip one out real quick to a wide receiver who can get out of bounds and get into semi-realistic field goal range. Because right now, at this point, you're looking at about a 58-yarder for Anderson. And remember, whatever wind there is, he'd be kicking into.
Three wide receivers in the offensive set. And Tomczak sets throws, quick out of bounds, and that stops the clock with 3 seconds. Maybe more realistic with that one play for the field goal attempt.
That's right. I like that. You came in the slot formation. You ran him off with the outside receiver. The other guy comes underneath, gets you the extra yards, and now you get a lot more realistic distance for Gary Anderson to try to get one here. This is well within his range.
He'll be kicking from the 39. That is a 49-yard attempt. Well, it's right on the edge of the range. You remember 50 yards, and he hit the bottom part of the upright.
It wasn't the distance last time. It was really the direction.
It was off just a little left. You're right. Another foot to the right, it would have dropped over, and now we've got 3 flags. And a quick conference to be held.
Illegal procedure on the center, number 60, moving the ball. All start, 5 yards, still second down.
Boy, is that a big play doing that in that situation, and that is why you see Bill Cowher going ballistic. Kendall Gammon, his short snapper, number 60. A center gets over the ball and kind of moves it around and twists it. Watch what happens when he does it. I mean, he just sort of snaps it around. Watch the ball. Oh, what he did was he gave him the old hunch. He hunched the old back and legs.
54-yard attempt, and it is drifting left, and it is short, and it is no good from 54 yards away. And that is now halftime with the score, Pittsburgh 7 and the Los Angeles Raiders 3. And we'll be back after these messages from your local passes, 8 of 16 for 85 yards.
Well, what he's gotten pressure, and more pressure. And he's gotten beaten on in the pocket. He's gotten beaten on here by Chad Brown when he scrambled. And, they're calling it migraines. But like I said at the end of the first half, I think the migraines are caused by black helmets with gold stripes on them.
Now for an update, let's go down to Jim Gray. Jim?
Okay, thank you very much, Charlie. Jeff Hostetler right now is in the locker room being treated for a migraine. He had a migraine while the game was going on. Took a couple of hits, and that kind of exacerbated it. Right now, Art Shell says that they will start Vince Evans here in the second half. However, they do expect that Hostetler will be okay from the treatment and could return. Charlie?
All right, thank you, Jim. Now, not to set aside the fact that those in our audience that are afflicted with migraine headaches is that you do get migraine headaches, when you're under pressure and have a lot of tension. And, that in itself, but then you add to the fact that somebody is beating on you while you have a migraine headache, then it is a giant migraine headache.
Yeah, it really is. And I really think the Raiders have to assume at this point that they're without Jeff Hostetler except in an emergency situation in the second half. They're going to have to make do with Vince Evans. And I'm really honest with you, I think Vince Evans presents a whole new problem for the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. I would not blitz this quarterback early. I try to get a feel for how he's going to play before I tried to rush him, because Vince Evans can run around and he throws very well on the move, specifically long.
So we're set to go with the second half. Alexander Wright, number 89, and Rocket Ismail, number 86, are set to return the kickoff of Gary Anderson. And here is Rocket from the 10 up to the 20, the 25, and then he's spun under at around the 31-yard line. Now let's take a look at the Coors Light halftime stat.
Just right, a great big defense over the middle of this whole thing here. This has just been a case of both the Raiders defense and the Pittsburgh defense starting out slow, getting penetration with their base defenses, and then just attacking the offenses. And as you can see from the highlight, just stuffing the run.
Now, the Raiders in the second half have to get Tim Brown involved in the ballgame. He's touched the ball in the first half 3 times, 1 reception, 2 punt returns, and that has been it.
They've only thrown 3 balls to the wide receivers. They got to get all their wide receivers involved.
And they open up on the ground with Harvey Williams. And Williams is going to pick up 2 to the 33, so it's going to be second down and 8. And the battle between Harvey Williams of the Raiders and Barry Foster of the Steelers, the 2 running backs, and their comparisons.
Well, the challenge for these 2 running backs is really who can get out of their own backfield without a defensive lineman in his lap. I mean, so far, both these defenses have shut down the running backs by cutting them off at the pass right at the backfield right after they get the handoff.
And both defenses, excellent afternoon. And Tim Brown goes across in motion. Evans to throw. He sets. Comes back over the middle. Pass is complete to James Jett. 47-yard line. 15 yards. First down. Deion Figures with a tackle.
You know, a lot of times we find ourselves in this business criticizing offenses, saying, why aren't they throwing to the wide receivers? Well, A lot of the times, that's because the defensive backs are doing a very, very good job. That time, James Jett did an excellent job getting free on man coverage with Dion Figure.
Steelers up in the ball game. They lead it 7-3. And the Raiders with the first down opening drive, second half. Evans hands off to Williams on the right side, and he has a couple of yards once again. It seems as if the Raiders are determined to hand off to Williams off the right side on first down on almost every play.
Well, how bad do you think they want to get Billy Joe Hobart in the game? Because if you don't try to establish a run and you're not committed to getting that going, you're in your hard shell. You're looking to get your third quarterback in there because your second quarterback's going to start having headaches too.
So it's second down and 8, and the ball just shy of the 50-yard line. Williams and Rathman the setback. Evans to throw, delayed blitz up the middle. Pass is complete. Here is Tim Brown. Brown to the 41-yard line. Ball pops loose, a scramble for it inside the 35. And the Steelers have the ball. First turnover of the ball game.
Somehow Darren Perry came out of that mosh that was back there with the ball. And a surprising mistake by Tim Brown, because this is what he does so well with people all around him when he's returning punts. That's head the ball straight upfield and protect the ball. He hit it upfield, but he did not protect the ball from the backside when Joel Steed, number 93, the nose guard, knocked it loose.
And so the Steelers take over at their own 33-yard line. First down, first offensive opportunity, second half. And Mike Tomczak hands off to Foster on a sweep to the left side. And he turns the corner. He's going to pick up maybe 9 yards on the play. Fredrickson and Anderson on the tackle. And limping is Mike Tomczak, a little slow to come up.
Well, he's limping because big defensive tackle Chester McLaughlin was all over him right at the exchange point and came right down on his leg and twisted his ankle. I mean, more penetration from the defensive lineman, not only challenging the running backs, but in that case, the quarterback.
Second and 1. And here is Foster. And this will be close to the first down. We may look at a measurement here, as he is stopped by the defensive right side of the Raiders line.
And a big difference in the Raiders defense this year as the year has progressed has really been the play of Chester McLaughlin at defensive tackle. He's becoming a legitimate force in there. He's becoming one of those defensive tackles, much like Jerry Ball on the other side played with it in Cleveland, and Michael Dean Perry. He's becoming a defensive tackle that teams have to game plan for because he is so big, so physical, and almost impossible to handle with only one guy.
And it's going to be short of the first down by just that much. So it's third down and inches. The two head coaches, we talked to them about the rivalry. You know, back those of you who followed NFL football, back to the immaculate reception and the great rivalry between the Steelers and the Raiders. Well, when you really think about it, on the day of the immaculate reception, Jeff Hostetler was 11 years old. Tim Brown was 6. Rocket Ismail and Barry Foster, they were both 3 years old. Not sure that they really remember that much about that ball game and the rivalry.
Those great Steeler lines were known for quick hitting, aggressive running inside. This is not a strong offensive line.
Quarterback sneak needed 4 inches and he got it. So he's just shy of the 45-yard line. Tomczak picks it up. It's really interesting to talk with Mike Tomczak yesterday. He has everything in the right perspective, although he's getting a little gray hair. But he said, you know, I've had a good career. I've played enough to satisfy my ego. I know that that really in reality that I'm the backup quarterback, and that when Neil O'Donnell is completely healthy, then he will be back in.
You know, I guess on one hand, that's the kind of attitude you want from a backup quarterback if you're a head coach, as you look at Neil O'Donnell on the sideline there, that, yeah, I know I'm out as soon as the other guy's in, but, you know.
Here's Foster. And has about 5-6 yards, and complete your thought.
Do you think Steve Walsh has that attitude in Chicago? He wasn't the starter originally. That guy didn't play well and got a little banged up. He got in and played well. I don't think so. Look at it again. A good job by Duval Love coming outside. The big guy kind of rumbling along there, getting a little quick trap on trap. But Foster's the kind of guy that doesn't need a whole lot of hole in front of him. With his size and his speed, he can create a lot of holes.
Second down and 3. And we have jumping in contact. McLaughlin coming across, perhaps drawn up.
Yeah, I think he had a little offensive quiver.
Before the snap, false start, number 67 on the offense. 5 yards, still second down.
That is the 6th penalty against the Steelers. There's 6 penalties. And thus far, the Raiders, known for their penalties, they have only 1.
So that little quiver just sort of raised up in his stance, and McLaughlin smartly just came straight across.
And the ball back to the Steelers' 47-yard line. And it's second down and 8. Here are the penalties and the numbers that we were just talking about. For that visual reinforcement this afternoon, here's the screen. And it's complete to Foster. Foster to the 50. He is in at that point. And a ball forward for maybe 3 more yards on the play as Fredrickson and Greg Beekert bring him down.
I tell you, that's a nice job by Greg Beekert, because when you see this screen start, everything is perfect. The defense rushes up the field. You watch the offensive line come out, and that offensive line is keyed by Dermontti Dawson, the center, coming on the screen. Lots of blockers.
And that was Jerry Ball.
Yeah, but the blockers were broken down by Beekert. He had 3 blockers in front of him, and Beekert went right straight through him to make that tackle.
Third down and 2. Tomczak to throw, and it is incomplete. Going to Ernie Mills. And Ernie Mills simply couldn't hang on to it. Well, that was a catchable ball.
That was a combination, though, Charlie. I think this is one of those things where you got to say the other guy gets paid, too, because James Trapp came in from the backside, and as that catch was being made, he stripped that thing away.
So it's 4th down, and Tim Brown is the return man. As Mark Royals will be kicking. There's Tim. Now, Tim does something that defenders love, and that is the fact that he wears that towel right in the middle of his belt. And a defender in that case will put his line of sight right at the towel regardless of what he moves and goes for it.
Well, with that towel, you're not so worried about where it's moving, but how you're going to catch it. Steelers get a little delay of game here, but this looks even more perfect for Mark Royals. This plays more into his game. You've seen the way he can put bites on balls and the way he directionally kicks.
By the offense, the penalty, the yardage is declined. It's 4th down.
Well, that didn't work.
Well, no, that's smart. That's smart. You don't give him that extra angle that yardage would give him. It's really an art form, the way these punters can make a ball travel that far in the air and the bite they put on it once it hits the ground.
Here's the kick. And it is fielded with a fair catch at the 12-yard line. 36 yards on the kick. We'll step aside. Steelers lead it. Back in a moment.
Raiders at the 13-yard line.
Along with Randy Cross and Jim Gray here at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. It's over 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Steelers continue to lead the Raiders by a score of 7-3. The Raiders go to work at their own 13-yard line with Vince Evans, the quarterback. As Glover moves across in motion, they stay on the ground again right side. Harvey Williams. This time he opens it up, and he has the first down. He's going to pick up about 14 yards on the play. That's the longest rushing play in the ball game for Harvey Williams. And it was Rod Woodson on the tackle.
And here's a case where the Raiders come out and it's a power formation. Look, 1 wide receiver out here. That is it. You got 2 tight ends, and you're saying, here comes the run, stop it. And Pittsburgh was not in a blitz mode. They were not being aggressive. They did not get the penetration, and that is the way the Raiders want to run the ball.
27-yard line, first down. And here's Harvey Williams again. This time he is up to the 30, so he picks up 3. Second down and 7. When we talked with Harvey yesterday, one of the ththings he was disappointed early in the season that he wasn't playing that much. That's the bad news. The good news is because he didn't play that much, he is as healthy now at this time of the year when he has had a lot of action than he has ever been. And he really feels good, and he feels strong for the Raiders run in December.
Well, he's also about 20 pounds lighter than he was in Kansas City for Marty Schottenheimer and that kind of power back offense. And what he needs to do, and I'm sure the coaches have told him from the first half, is he needs to hit these holes quicker, be more aggressive.
And a little play action fake. There's pressure, and Evans is wrapped up. Kevin Green, that is his 11th sack of the year and the third of the ball game for the Steelers.
Vince Evans gets right up and gets in that linebacker's face. But watch Kevin Green coming off the outside edge. He's working on Skrepenak, and he just gets rid of Skrepenak like he's not even there. Gets right into Vince Evans' face, puts him down, and I'm sure has a few gentle, kind words for him while he's on the ground.
All right, it is 3rd down and 14. We'll start at the pocket watch to see what kind of protection that Vince Evans is going to get.
He liked Green last time. He's going to love him this time.
Has pressure from the backside, barely gets it up, and he overthrows the intended receiver. 2.38 seconds. Ishmael the Rocket, the intended receiver. It was Chad Brown who was blitzing.
Just does not have the time. You cannot throw the ball down the field accurately. You've got to, if you can anticipate and lob it and hope, you might get lucky, but not accurately.
And remember, most coaches, most quarterback coaches, they would like to have 3.5 seconds to throw. I mean, that is the optimum. You're not going to get any more than that, but they would like to be in that area. And with the defense of the Steelers, you're not even getting close to that time.
Like I said in the first half, Charlie, 3.5 and 4 is the norm for Vince Evans and the rest of the quarterbacks here with the Raiders.
And here is Rod Woodson. He is going to chase it to the sideline. It goes out of bounds. 7:14. Time remaining, 3rd quarter. Steelers are up 7-3. Back in a moment.
First attempt from the 35.
Well, here's a few tips on making a more effective business presentation from Jason.
A moment ago, as Jeff Hostetler came out of the tunnel and was first glimpsed by the fans here at the Coliseum, a standing ovation as he works his way to the bench. The report that we have, he still has the migraine, a bit of still that fuzzy vision, and we'll just have to wait and see if he is going to return to the field of play this afternoon. And right now the Steelers have the ball, first down at their own 35. Steelers lead in the ball game by a score of 7-3. And remember, they are tied with Cleveland, the Central Division, starting today. Cleveland won earlier today, 34-10 over Houston. And Tomczak buys a little time, will swing pass to the left side. And there's Bam Morris as he goes out of bounds.
Mike Tomczak throws this pass about 6 inches lower than he did earlier in the game, and watch the catch Bam Morris makes. Here's a big guy, very nimble, got good hands, is going to fit more and more into this offense as time goes along. But a good job by that Raider defense of just taking everything away. Tomczak had to go to that and didn't gain anything.
2nd down. Bam Morris. And he moves the pile to the 40-yard line, so he's going to pick up close to 5. Eddie Anderson, the first Raider to get to him.
I'll tell you another guy that's kind of disappeared out of this Pittsburgh offense, or a guy that's disappeared, is the tight end, Eric Green. Made a big play early with a catch, but, you know, he's basically been an offensive tackle lately for Bill Cowher's offense, just blocking and hasn't gotten down, hasn't got any more catches. I think he, just like Tim Brown, is a guy you've got to involve in your offense.
And again, like the Raiders, they have not involved their wide receivers. Thigpen with a touchdown catch. And here the pass is complete to Thigpen.
Complete to Thigpen.
And he should pick up the first down. So once he starts involving the wide receivers, things start to happen.
Well, actually on that play, too, Eric Green was in the slot, 280 pounds of him. He drags the coverage over, and the reason Thigpen makes this catch is the coverage adjusts over to Eric Green. Thigpen makes everything look good. Kind of a punt return run after he catches it.
Thigpen now 4 receptions for 57 yards. The only touchdown of the ball game. Here's Bam Morris. John L. Williams, the lead blocker, gets him around the corner. And he's going to go to the 47-yard line of the Raiders. Winston Moss, Derek Hoskins on the tackle.
We got a good lead block here by Bam Morris. Watch that, but watch patient running. This is patient running by Bam Morris. Getting the block from Williams. He's able to just stand there as he runs along, but kind of just hesitate, gets his block, makes his cut, and gets a good positive run.
2nd and 3. Big hole up the middle for Bam Morris, first down. 40-yard line. Eddie Anderson with the tackle. And now that offensive line of the Steelers starting to assert themselves.
You're going to see one thing right here. Bam. This is a bam. Watch Morris. Bam. Big hole. It does not get any better than the offensive line, especially with him running upfield.
40-yard line Raiders, first down. And here is Foster. And he counters with 6. Barry Foster to the 30-40-yard line. 2nd and 4. Anthony Smith, Winston Moss on the tackle.
Unless you get enamored with Bam Morris. Oh, yeah, they got Barry Foster. He's the starter. I mean, this is an offensive 1-2 combination unlike any other in the NFL with these two power running backs that really can be a plus for Ron Earhart and his offensive thinking as a coordinator. Because remember those old Giant teams, those great teams with Joe Morris and Otis Anderson. That's what they like to do.
And here is Foster. He's got the first down, 29-yard line. Needed 4, and he got 5. That was it. James Trapp with the tackle. Coming into the ball game, the rushing combination of Barry Foster and Bam Morris, over 1,200 yards is the total between them. And we've got a rushing comparison today, first half, second half for you.
So that's really been the story so far in this drive, is just the running game, and that's a byproduct of the blocking up front coming alive for Mike Tomczak and his offense.
Moving on the 3-minute mark, time remaining, third quarter. And here is Foster, big hole left side. And he is close to the first down. They're going to mark it at the 20. So it may be about a step or two shy of the first down. Hoskins and Anderson with the tackle.
Remember I talked about Eric Green's got to catch more balls, and all he's been doing is blocking? Watch what kind of blocking he's been doing, working on Winston Moss. Good screen block out on Moss. Foster comes right up behind it. That hole was just as big as the one that was over the middle for Bam Morris.
Foster, 41 yards rushing, and speaking of Bam Morris, he is back in. It really is the 1-2 bunch. And here is Bam, and he's got the hole on the right side. Not quite as big, but he still has 3 yards. And it's Derek Hoskins who makes the tackle along with Jerry Ball.
You know, one thing that's interesting for a big back that Bam Morris says is, you know, I hate guys going down around my knees and my shins because it hurts. It hurts people. It hurts me when they hit me down there. A couple of weeks ago, he was in the game and he was hurdling everybody. Was driving Bill Cowher crazy because he knows a big guy hurdling is a mistake waiting to happen. Hopefully he keeps his feet on the ground.
And he's got the first down. Now to throw. Tomczak over the middle. It is there. Pass is complete to John L. Williams. Derek Hoskins with the tackle. When we talked with Tomczak yesterday, your favorite receiver, and his eyes just lit up, is John L. He's got those great big hands.
Well, you know what really makes him a favorite receiver for any quarterback he's ever played with is he's one of those guys that knows where he's supposed to be. And if he has to be somewhere where he's not supposed to be for the quarterback and to help him out, he gets there. You can't coach that. He's just got that innate feel for linebackers, zones, and defenses. I mean, it hasn't just been here in Pittsburgh. It was also when he was up in Seattle. You look at those numbers, that is not normal for a running back. I played with a running back, Roger Craig. Those are kind of his normal numbers. But you're talking about a kind of an elusive, shifty running back. This is a fullback.
And the Steelers take a timeout, and that will stop the clock. They want to talk things over. It is 2nd down and 1. The ball at the 8-yard line of the Raiders. And we're running out of time here in the third quarter with 1 minute and 3 seconds left in this period. Now, next week, Pittsburgh will be at Cincinnati, and then they play Philadelphia and Cleveland at home Christmas Eve at San Diego. The Raiders, well, they're in San Diego next weekend. In fact, it's a week from tomorrow. They have the Monday night game on December the 5th. Then they have Denver here. We'll be back to cover that in 2 weeks. And then a Sunday night game at Seattle. And Christmas Eve, the Raiders are home to Kansas City. And this is a drive that the Steelers not only have chewed up a lot of yardage, they've taken some time off the clock. 10 plays, 8 rushes, and 2 passes. It's been the 1-2 punch of Barry Foster and Bam Morris.
It really has been, and Bill Cowher knows from the Pittsburgh Steelers standpoint that these 2 running backs are a heck of a plus, especially in this specific situation. Barry Foster's in, and you're looking at a 2nd and short on the 8-yard line. So you're not thinking, let's get greedy. When you're not thinking on the 8-yard line, I got to make something happen. Here you're thinking first down, and then let's worry about getting the ball in the end zone.
Any advantage, disadvantage, which end you are with the shadows, with the sun as it settles in the afternoon, because you've played here many times?
No, I really don't think there's much of an advantage here right now, because this sun will be really below the level of the Coliseum pretty quickly. The only thing about in the fourth quarter, you want to be going towards the left end zone in the fourth quarter if you have the lead, because that's closer to the locker room.
But perhaps it's an advantage here going to your right, because that means that the defense is looking into the sun if you want to end up throwing it into the end zone.
Well, if you were
looking for every edge.
If you were a passing team and you were worried about guys looking back into the sun, yeah, but they got down here with a brutal in-your-face running game, and that's how they're getting in the end zone.
Play action fake, blitz is coming. Pass is complete to John L. Williams, just about the line of scrimmage. A bit surprised with that call. I thought they'd just come right at you.
Gee, the Raiders look like it fooled the heck out of them, didn't it? There are only 4 guys right there.
May have lost a yard.
I mean, when something's working, you just don't stop doing it until they stop you. And that was a case where Pittsburgh was hammering the ball, and they stopped doing what they were doing well. You know, Ron Earhart there made the comment to us yesterday, if I got something going, I'm going to keep going. And that's not only game in one game, that's week to week, year to year. If it's still working, I'm still bringing it. And if you're going to bring something right here, you bring a big guy.
And Tomczak turns around, looks, and says, I don't like this. I'm calling a timeout. This time we'll step aside. We'll be back in just a moment. And if you're a defender or a receiver looking back, that can affect you.
But I think for the Pittsburgh Steelers, all this really means, and you see the Raiders defense trying to get this crowd involved, is the sun is at the back of the guy that's got the ball. This has got to be a power running play with Barry Foster.
Play action fake. Over the middle, end zone, incomplete. Ernie Mills, the intended receiver. Patrick Bates was there for the defense. And I am stunned by this series of calls.
This, Charlie, is a case of the Pittsburgh Steelers offense playing defense for the Raiders. That's stopping what you were doing well. That was running the ball. That was putting the guys back on their heels. That's trying to be cute. And that is not Pittsburgh Steelers football.
26-yard field goal attempt by Gary Anderson. And he leaves it out to the right. It is no good. Anderson is now missed from 50, 54, and 26. Back in a moment.
You've heard the term just leaving it out a little bit in golf. Here's one of the most accurate field goal kickers in the history of the NFL. Just leaving it out a little.
The Raiders will start from their own 20-yard line.
That's unbelievable. I mean, I really think you count that little hunch at the end of the first half where they couldn't get the 49-yard field goal try. I think the Steelers have wasted 10 points.
Vince Evans still the quarterback. He hands off to Harvey Williams. And Harvey has 3. 3 to the 23. And that'll take us to the end of the third quarter. 3 in the books, 1 to go. And Pittsburgh is out in front 7-3. And we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
This telecast is presented by...
The scoring in the first half. We start the fourth quarter. 7-3 Steelers. Vince Evans back to throw. And the pass is complete. Tim Brown will pull it in. Now let's go down for a report. Here's Jim Gray. Jim?
Okay, thank you, Charlie. Jeff Hostetler took an injection at halftime for his migraine headache. That was to stop the spasms in his head. He returned out for the second half, took some warm-up passes, and is having some trouble with his left eye. His vision is a little bit blurry, so they're going to hold him out for right now. Charlie?
All right, thank you for the update, Jim. The ball is the 30-yard line, first down.
The heck with right now. I don't care if it's a quarterback or anybody playing football. If you've got any problem with your vision, anything having to do with your head, there's no right now. That's for the rest of today, and then you look into it medically.
Glover comes across in motion. Here's Harvey Williams. Williams across the 35 out to the 36-yard line, where Kirkland makes the tackle, 2nd and 4.
Got a new center in for the Raiders. Dan Turk working there, 67, working against Joel Steed, 93 in the middle, and that's right where everything goes for Harvey Williams. And that wasn't as clean as some of the big runs for the Steelers, but it was very effective.
New center Dan Turk, quarterback Vince Evans. What about the exchange?
Well, there's probably two guys that are used to working together each other, you know, on the scout teams and things like that. The second team center sees a lot of the second team quarterback.
2nd and 4. Rathman in motion. And here is Williams. Runs into Rathman as he cuts back. He is going to end up with a yard, and that is going to be it.
I'd say a yard's pretty generous the way that goes.
Come to think of it, less than a yard.
When you got a problem working, watch the people in the backfield that don't belong there. Some of the people that don't belong there are linebackers, defensive linemen, and the rear ends of your offensive linemen. Those don't belong in the backfield.
3rd down and 4. You look for Evans to throw here.
I think Vince Evans has got to throw here. He's got to test the ball. And as unfamiliar as he is with playing this year, it goes to Tim Brown.
And Tim Brown almost pulls it down, but a flag comes flying. The pass a little behind him. He was reaching around and up for it. Rod Woodson had the coverage. A classic confrontation of two great players.
That's just a case of a situation they need to throw. You know where they're going. They do it. Just a great matchup.
Pass interference, number 26 on the defense. First down.
All right, let's take a look at that matchup. Tim Brown gets open initially very quickly. Woodson recovers well. Hands on him, pulling on his back. There was contact after 5 yards. There ain't much. A year ago, that's not pass interference. A week ago, Charlie, that's not pass interference.
I think that's ticky-tacky.
I think that's interference.
Play action fake. Lots of time. Now he scrambles. Now he goes down, loses the ball. The Steelers may come up with it. Pittsburgh has the ball. Ray Seals and Greg Lloyd were making the play with the Steelers. And Seals recovers the fumble. Second turnover. Lloyd knocked it away.
Just a situation. We've got a quarterback not used to playing. Scrambles well, but does not protect the football for Art Shell.
Now,
first down Steelers. Their own 46-yard line. Tomczak comes out throwing. Oh, has good protection. Goes far side. It is almost intercepted. Oh. Eric Green, the intended receiver. And Patrick Bates almost had a touchdown. It was that close.
It's really a case of one of those balls, like Mike Ditka said earlier today, that Mike Tomczak figures, hey, I can get this in here. I can make this pass. I'm going to get this in. And survey says you shouldn't even have to throw that one. It should have been 6 the other way.
Tomczak has completed 11 of 26, 116 yards passing. And here's the draw. John L. Williams. 47-yard line. Raider territory, trap and base. Let's go back to that turnover, to that fumble that we saw a moment ago.
Well, really, the problem here is watch Vince Evans scramble. When he scrambles, the ball's in his right hand. Now watch Lloyd come up and just slap it away. You hear it time and again. Gee, he's carrying it in the wrong hand. That's an example. A quarterback's not used to carrying the ball. He's not a real runner, but you got to know to get it away from the defender where he can't slap it.
Third down and 3 from the shotgun and the pitch. John L. Williams around the corner, and he goes out of bounds. Let's see where they'll mark it. And remember, he needed 3, and he should have gotten it. And he does with 1.5 yards to spare. And it was Rob Fredrickson who took him out of bounds.
5 yards and a first down.
First down for the Steelers.
At the 42.
Well, the story of the Steeler offense this second half has barely been running the ball and time of possession.
And guess what? On the sideline, Hostetler, he's starting to warm up just a little bit. First down. And here is Barry Foster to the right side. Foster to the 30. Cuts back to the 25. Lowers his head 20. 19-yard line. Taking Eddie Anderson with him. 23 yards for Barry Foster.
Sometimes coaches say things that, I got a bad feeling about this play. Well, this kind of running and this kind of blocking causes bad feelings for defensive coaches, not to mention defensive backs like Eddie Anderson trying to make the tackle. Look at that blocking out in front. John L. Williams, Leon Cersei. Excellent, excellent offensive running football.
And this is what the Steelers do so well, except for that kind of brain lock they had at the opposite end of the field. Here's Foster. And he dives maybe 1 yard or 2. And they went away from it at the end of the third quarter. And this time they're back, running and doing what they do so well.
And what they're doing is they're putting the ball in this guy's hands. And you can tell by the concentration and just the cold stare that these running backs get going when they're going well, whether it's Barry Foster, who went to the sideline, or Bam Morris, 33, who's in there now.
Here's the 2 of the 1-2 punch. Side, not that big a hole, kind of backpedal. He's going to lean to the 16-yard line. He just picks up a couple. You're looking at 3rd down and 7, McLaughlin and Fredrickson, and you would expect Tomczak to come out throwing here.
Well, you talk about the second line of defense, and it's been gashed a few times in the runs that Mike Tomczak has called of late with Barry Foster specifically. But in that case, the linebackers, the second line of defense, stuffed it up. Now, the pressure, the blitz has to come from that second line of defense.
You look for him to throw here. We'll check out the pocket watch. And he's going to throw. Has good protection. Fires pass complete. 5-yard line. Touchdown. Eric Green.
Just when you thought it was safe to consider Bill Cowher's tight end, Eric Green, a blocker, he turns back into a receiver.
And Tomczak throwing for his 2nd touchdown of the year, his 2nd of the afternoon.
Just sort of lost in the zone. Handed off over the middle, but he was handed off to Eddie Anderson, who's back into the end zone. Should I disappear? And if you're going to get handed something, you don't want to get handed a 280-pound package with a 20-yard head start.
And the extra point is up, and it is good. That is only the 2nd touchdown of the ball game. It deserves another look. Randy?
Eric Green, 280 pounds, a blocker, a receiver, the best tight end in the league.
You're watching the Coors Light Channel.
Steelers out in front of the Raiders now by a score of 14-3. Mike Tomczak with 2 touchdown passes to Yancey Thigpen in the first half, to Eric Green here in the second half. Gary Anderson will be kicking off. Rocket Ismail and Alexander Wright are the return men for the Raiders.
And for all the offensive kind of missteps they've taken on occasion today, the story really for the Steelers has been the way this defense, which is about to take the field, has handled and stuffed the Raiders.
And here is the kick. And the return. It is Rocket Ismail. And he'll lean to the 25-yard line, and that's going to be it. Steve Avery was there. Hostetler is coming back into the ball game. We're going to step aside. Back in a moment.
Avalon by the U.S. Army. Learn how to get an edge on life. Be all you can be. By Coors Light, naturally brewed. Reach for the silver bullet, the pure taste of the Rockies. And by NEC, a leader in multimedia technology. NEC. See, hear, and feel the difference.
Raiders at their own 25-yard line. Jeff Hostetler back in the ballgame. And he sets and he throws, and Tim Brown cannot pull it in. For a report on Hostetler, let's go down to Jim Gray. Jim?
Okay, Charlie, Jeff Hostetler took that injection at halftime for his migraine headache. It helped his headache, but it made the vision in his left eye very, very blurry. What happened is they were giving him some eye tests over here on the sidelines. Didn't pass the first couple. Finally, within the last few minutes, he passed their test. The Raider doctors being very, very careful, and Hostetler said he was ready to go back in. Charlie?
All right, Chad Brown, the injured player for the Steelers. Timeout. We'll step aside. Back in a moment. Down and 10. Chad Brown got a finger in his eye. That's the reason that he was coming to the sideline. Hostetler now is pressure side. Kevin Green, his second sack of the ballgame, 12 on the year, fourth sack for the Steelers. They have 44.
And this is just what Art Shell does not want to see with a quarterback that's had headaches. He's had some problems to start with his head. Is having to start taking these hits from a guy like Kevin Green. I'll be honest, I got a real serious problem with Jeff Hostetler being in this football game right now. If he's got anything, I don't care if it's a migraine, but if you got anything going on with your head, you can't be too careful.
I agree with you completely. Third down, 16. Steps away, steps into pressure, steps away, wanted a lateral sack.
And a nice job as Jason Gilden finally gets on him there, number 92, the rookie. But what happens is the sack is caused by the pocket breaking down. He's got plenty of time. He's looking, but the pocket breaks down because he can't go to his right because of Kevin Green. Real contrast for Jeff Hostetler with the protection he's gotten so far in the last couple of plays and what Mike Tomczak had on that last possession and that last touchdown. Just night and day.
Jeff Gossett kicking. Rod Woodson is the return man. He moves under, takes it at the 40-yard line, heads to the near side, and that's it. He's going to have 2, maybe 3 yards on the return. We'll step aside following that 45-yard kick. 14-3 Steelers.
Working to be the best. Teammates. Sponsored by the U.S. Army.
Beautiful aerial pictures all afternoon. The Goodyear blimps travel over 100,000 miles every year covering major sporting events.
There shouldn't be too much aerial about the Pittsburgh offense now.
You should keep it on the ground and rely on their defense, and they start out on the ground. And that is Bam Morris. No gain, but let's go to New York. Greg Gumbel with an update.
All right, Charlie, at the Kingdome in Seattle, the Seahawks have grabbed the lead on Kansas City. Steve Smith, a 2-yard touchdown run. It is 7-6 Seattle. Joe Montana on the sideline for the Chiefs with a sprained left ankle, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Greg. So San Diego, they are leading the Rams. Kansas City, game back. They are trailing, and the Raiders a game back at Kansas City. They are trailing in their ballgame. Second down and 10. Off the right side, Van Moore to the 46-yard line. And one of the lead blockers was number 86, Eric Green.
Yeah, we talked about this package he's got working as a tight end. He's one of the best. Anthony Smith, look at the job he does kicking out on Anthony Smith. The best job he's done so far is catching a touchdown on that last possession, but that's set up by the pocket. Watch the time Tomczak has to pass all the way across the formation, 3 seconds plus. That is how you complete passes in the red zone.
Third down and 7. And a direct snap to John L. Williams from the shotgun. And he has the first down all the way to the 36-yard line of the Raiders. 18 yards on the play.
Well, there's a gotcha. A quick little job like this. Quick direct snap. Watch this happen. Done a few funny things with the passes down by the end zone, but here's a case where the Raiders defense is thinking pass. The Raiders defense is thinking up the field, and the only thing happening up the field is in the middle of their defensive backfield in the other direction by the Steelers.
How'd you like those moves of John L.? He was putting a little shake of the shoulders and trying to look for a bit of an opening and a couple of extra yards.
For some guys, that's moves. For a lot of guys, that's wasted energy.
And we have a timeout, so the clock is stopped. The Steelers have the ball, and they have the lead by a score of 14-3. And here is a program note coming up on NBC. Tonight on Earth 2, the humans make their first contact with the aliens, and it could be deadly. An exciting all-new Earth 2. And science awakens the dead and faces the consequences on an all-new sequence. Then one woman married to two men at the same time, and how did she get away with it? Well, Connie Selica stars in the world premiere movie, She Led Two Lives. That's all tonight, starting at 7/6 Central here on NBC. And don't forget also to be with us again next Sunday here on NBC Sports as our continuing coverage of National Football League games.
This Pittsburgh Steelers team is so close from being a dominant football team in the NFL right now. If this offense can get it together, they can run the ball like they've had in the second half, they can throw accurately from the quarterback position, they can beat anybody in the league.
A first down is Barry Foster back to the line of scrimmage. That is off. And let's go to Greg Gumbel in New York for an update. Greg?
All right, Charlie, at Mile High Stadium in Denver, some fireworks courtesy of Jeff Blake and the Bengals. To Carl Pickens, who completes a 70-yard touchdown play. And the Bengals have cut Denver's lead to 2 at 15-13, 9 minutes to play. Meanwhile, in Seattle, the Chiefs' Lynn Elliott has kicked a 38-yard field goal. They've regained the lead 9-7 over the Seahawks, Charlie.
All right, thank you, Greg, for that double update. The Steelers will be at Cincinnati next Sunday afternoon. Here is Foster to the right side. He cuts back behind the blocker, and he goes to the 31-yard line. Winston Moss makes the tackle for the Raiders, and now, of course, the Steelers content just to work on the clock.
Well, that was a good example there of patient running by Barry Foster as everything moved right. He just sort of sat, and then made his move as all the blockers and defenders passed in front of him. And that's exactly what you need him to do. And, you know, that says a lot about the job that this running game has done in the second half, because neither team can run it very well, but Ron Earhart's offensive line has really come to the dance in the second half and just brought it right into the Raiders' face.
Third down and 5. Here is the draw. And Barry Foster. Foster to the 26-yard line. It's going to be close to the first down. Mike Jones making the tackle as the clock continues on its march.
First down, Pittsburgh.
And Pittsburgh has a first down.
That was a good play by Barry Foster for Bill Cowher on that one, because Duval Love had all he could handle with Chester McLaughlin in the backfield, and Foster had to run further sideways to get to the line of scrimmage, and the line of scrimmage was away.
Now they say, wait a minute. You want to make sure. So they've called for the measurement. And as the chains come out, you had the shot of the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Bill Cowher. Well, he has a different kind of traveling arrangement. That's official now. On the flights, it's all by seniority, and since he's got 2.5 years, he doesn't have that much seniority. Normally, he flies in coach, and the players with more seniority there in first class, but he told us this time it's a bigger plane with the headwinds, and he had his wife, and so they snuck up in the last row of first class. Should have got some dirty looks for the players. He said, it's okay. On the way back, I'll be back in coach.
Yeah, I would say that policy is the benevolent part of the benevolent dictatorship he has in Pittsburgh, because, you know, that's about the only concession I think this guy has of everything not being done his way.
But it's his rule, so it is his way. Here's Barry Foster. And he has a couple of yards on the board. You really have to be impressed with the job that he has done with the Steelers in the last 2.5 years.
Oh, well, definitely. I mean, especially the defense these guys have built. I was talking to him yesterday, Charlie, when we were in that meeting, and I said, well, you know, Bill, you've got a team that's about to become a dominant team. And I started to go into another thought. He looked at me and said, well, you know, there's a lot of teams playing good right now. I said, hey, wait a minute, Coach. There ain't another team in the league that's got the defense you guys have right now with Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd and Rod Woodson and the talent you have on that side of the ball. And that's going to be the one that'll decide, you know, what happens. You know, the special teams and the defense for Bill Cowher and this team set the tone. The offense is going to set the limits. The offense will decide how far this team can go. This is a playoff team, but if the offense can step to the plate for Bill Cowher, this can be a Super Bowl team.
Their record currently is 8-3. A win today, they, of course, then would go to 9-3, with Cincinnati, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and San Diego remaining on their schedule. And we had jumping, and there's no contact by the defense. Sliding through. No flags were flying. But their flag yet finally on the far side. Kind of hard to get those big bodies through without any contact and come back.
Well, especially with the new rule this year, the defense really can't move or do much at all nowadays. They get called for encroachment.
And remember, the Raiders now still with only one penalty in the ballgame. You know, they are always either setting the record or chasing the record of the most penalties. And this may be their best performance ever.
Neutral zone violation by the defense. 5 yards, still second down.
Well, you know, we saw the conference on what exactly happened. What could it have been? Watch Jerry Ball. Into the backfield, past Mike Tomczak, past the cones. You put a stopwatch on that, it's an agility drill.
And the ball goes to the 19.
The Dancing Bear. Jerry Ball is really, I think, a high-quality defensive lineman who's made a great adjustment. He was always a nose guard at Detroit. Since he's been in Cleveland last year, in L.A. now, he's getting to play defensive tackle. All that really does is limits his range from sideline to sideline.
Second down and 3, Donnell Williams. And he leans inside the 15, and that should give them the first down. And the clock continues on its inexorable march.
This is what we used to call in San Francisco when I was playing. Bill Walsh had a term about going into your sort of 6-minute offense. And this is the 6-minute offense for Bill Cowher. That's you get the ball with about that left, and your job offensively is that when you score or when they tell you to get off the field, you're heading towards the locker room because you've eaten most of it up with your offense.
First down, 15-yard line. And on the right side, Van Moore. And he will go to the 10. So he'll pick up 5. It'll be second down and 5.
I saw a little something at the end of that one right there. Van Morris went backwards. We haven't seen that very many times today.
Ten plays on the ground. And Van Morris, right side. Slips the tackle. He's inside the 5, and he is down close to the 3-yard line where it's going to be first down and goal to go. And time remaining. After this ballgame, which is moving right along, we'll have a choice to send you to either to Denver or to Seattle for that the Cincinnati-Denver game or the Kansas City game at Seattle. Those games very close. We were Greg giving you the updates on them in a moment, just a moment ago. The Steelers here will take the countdown to the 2 minutes. So as soon as this game is over, don't go away because we all going to have some more NFL action for you this afternoon.
Once this clock is down to 10 and it goes to 2 minutes, pretend it's a heavyweight fight and they're counting out the guy right now because this is a knockout by the Steeler offense. And there's a knockout.
There's a knockout punch by Van Morris as he scores his first touchdown of the afternoon and his 5th of the season. The rookie from Texas Tech.
You think you want to try to arm tackle this 250, 260-pound running back? I don't think so. Not even close. And no one really legitimately in sight because the wide receivers and tight ends are doing a great job of blocking for him.
And so the Steelers just grinding out 57 yards in 11 plays using just over 6 minutes. And the extra point is up, and it is good.
This brutal efficiency you've seen from the Pittsburgh Steelers might look familiar. You've seen that in the past from the New York Giants when Ron Earhart was their offensive coordinator. And it's the kind of offense he's got working right now in Pittsburgh. And brutal is the best way to put it.
And the touchdown comes with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left here. And the Steelers comfortably in control of this ball game, so their record will go to 9-3. And they stay tied with Cleveland 9-3. But right now the Steelers continue to hold the home field advantage through the playoffs. San Diego is leading in their ball game over the Rams, so their record will go to 9-3. Kansas City game is still up in the air. The Raiders will go to 6-6. Denver's record is 5-6 with their game still up in the air. And again next week, Pittsburgh will be at Cincinnati. Randy and I will be there to bring you that ball game. And the Raiders will be at San Diego a week from tomorrow night. That is Monday night against the Chargers, December the 5th. The attendance today here this afternoon, pretty good in the Coliseum, 58,327, with just over 2,000 no-shows as we look down to the Coliseum from the blimp. And now we're set to go as Gary Anderson will kick off either the Rocket or the Alexander Wright. And here is Ishmael. Ball pops up and he reaches out and pulls it back. And that was Gary Jones who was there for the Steelers. And now our viewers will be going to the Cincinnati-Denver game.